Do you like natural but elevated makeup? Hey, Dr. Wilkin, dermatology resident here. Come follow along as I do a fun nighttime makeup look before going to dinner with some friends at the American Academy of Dermatology national meeting at a party by Aquaphor and Eucerin later tonight. I'm also going to be testing out this Chanel highlighter stick for the first time today. We're going to get into this makeup look using my e.l.f. Power Grip Primer with 4% niacinamide. Texture of this primer. It is AAD weekend, and today is Thursday when I'm filming this. Tonight is going to be a little bit more low-key than the next few nights, but I'm going to dinner with some of my dermatology resident friends. I'm also going to get to see one of my friends who's a dermatologist and is now practicing for a few years. It's going to be so good catching up with everyone. This is my favorite conference by far for resident bonding. It's where I feel like I've made really great friendships and gotten to really know my co-residents. Every year I look back and it's just been so much fun. I didn't even use all of that primer. We're gonna move on into our foundation, and I'm gonna bring out the big guns for this weekend. These Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. These are both the originals. I primarily use shade 4.5, which is light medium, and then I mix in a little bit of shade 5, which is light. I'm gonna mix in a little of this Prequel half and half. Not this much. I need to wash my makeup brushes, but I'm gonna be using this flat foundation brush. Only used it once so far. Gonna mix this. Clean cushion puff. Go ahead and tap this. I can already tell too that I mixed in just a little bit too much of my light shade, but that's okay. Last year, the convention was in Florida, and this year it's in Denver. I'm really excited to get to be at the convention and hang out with my residents. This is the annual convention too, where I would say we definitely get the most product. It's always so exciting and the energy is so fun. Last year, I had an amazing time in Orlando. The only downside is that a lot of the parties and events after hours was really far from each other, so it was just a little bit more difficult to get from one event to the next. That makes a lot of sense too in Orlando, just it being a lot larger. But because it's in Denver this year, a lot of the events are going to be closer. I think that's going to be really fun too, getting to go to more events this year because it's going to be more accessible. And really big shout out to my co-resident Neha, because she was so on top of making sure we all signed up for all of the parties this year, because it's often first come first serve. While we didn't get into every party, we got into so many of the big ones. Like for example, we got into the Neutrogena party, which I've never been able to get into. I'm just really excited this year to get to go to all these events. One of the thoughts I'm having right now as I do my foundation, and I feel like whenever I do my makeup these days, I do enter somewhat of a state of flow. I feel a lot of gratitude in this day and age. I feel so lucky that I can do my makeup and express myself creatively in this way, and it be, for the most part, a safe environment. I think historically, it makes me so sad to think about people who weren't able to express themselves authentically. I feel so grateful to live in the time and the area that I live in as well. Certainly, I recognize that even nowadays, there are people who don't feel safe to live their life authentically. I just send all my love to those people because I know that everyone deserves to live their authentic life safely and joyfully. Let's move on now into our concealer. And the concealer I want to use today is the Natasha Denona HY-Glam concealer. But let me start with the color corrector first. This is the color corrector in C2. Always to the back of my hand first. Just gives me a lot more control with my application and making sure I don't over apply. Here and here I like to put a little bit, and then here I find this color corrector is pretty good for masking the beard hair, and so just cancels out some of this green. I'm gonna take the same cushion puff that I used for my foundation to blend this all in. I have the smallest hint of patchiness on my forehead. I think the reason why that happened is because it happened after I went in with the second layer of foundation on top. This happened the last video too with the Maybelline Skin Tint. I think it's because when that foundation is drying down on the back of my hand and I try to apply a second layer with more dried down foundation, then I think it leads to this patchiness. The next time I add a second layer, I think what I'm going to do is right before I add it, I'm going to add a little bit of my milky toner so that I can make it more liquid again and less dried down and see if that helps. So stay tuned for that in a future video. Alright, I'm gonna take my Natasha Denona HY-Glam concealer. I think this one is the N5. I go back and forth between N5 and N6 and both work beautifully for me. Natasha Denona really did an amazing job with her foundation and her concealer. I'm gonna take the same small little brush I'd use for the color corrector. Now that I've done color corrector a lot down here, I'm really going to be judicious with how much concealer I use in this area. More targeted. Let's use our cushion puff to blend all of this out. Alright, that's looking really good at this point. Let's go ahead and set our base makeup. This is the one and only Givenchy Prisme Libre setting powder, the original in 3 Voile Rose. They don't sell this one anymore. They reformulated it and apparently it's not good. I saved this for special occasions. There's just something magical about this original Givenchy Prisme Libre loose powder. I learned about this powder through Nikki LaRose, a makeup artist in LA and on YouTube. Definitely check her videos out. She's incredible. She has been my unofficial makeup teacher through YouTube. Oh, this powder is so good. Let's go ahead and move into our contour and bronze. I've been mixing up the two recently and liking how it looks. I'm going to start with the Fenty Beauty Match Stix. I use the shade Amber Suede. I'm going to go ahead and draw this on. Let's blend this all out. I'm going to use this Sigma Soft Blend 60 brush to blend this all out. I'm going to take a smaller brush like this one. This is the Deluxe Crease brush by Real Techniques. Blend everything else out like the nose and whatnot. I'm going to take my cushion puff and blend out some of the edges that I'm seeing. Alright, so we're done with cream contour, and I want to use a powder bronzer today. And I'm going to be using this Giorgio Armani Luminous bronzer, shade 90. I'm going to grab a fluffy brush, like this one, Real Techniques 400, and then swirl, tap off the excess, and very lightly go over those areas where I had used the cream contour to lock it into place. I'm going to grab a smaller brush. This is just a Mold 10 brush to go over my nose and some of the other areas. I'm happy with how things are looking so far. Let's move on into our blush. Our blush today is this Ciele Behati shade. This one's a rose, dusty, mauve shade. I'm going to grab this Sigma F76 brush, blend that on the back of my hand. Great daytime blush, but I'm going to be layering my blushes today, so I'm okay with going with a little bit of a lighter one first. I'm gonna go in with more because it is a dinner and a party I'm going to tonight. Love it. It is coming out more on camera, which means in person it's a little bit strong, but I still think looking in the mirror, it looks very natural, very skin-like, and it doesn't come across as heavy at all, at least in my opinion. Next, I want to top this off with my Kosas Dreamland Blushes Life. This one has a little bronze hue. It's beautiful. I'm going to use another F76 chisel for this. Grab a little bit, top off the excess, and go over my blush. This is going to help the color stay throughout the night and lock in some of this liquid that I just placed. This color is beautiful. It has a little bit of a bronze shade and it's just so pretty. I definitely went a little bit heavier than I normally do, and I'm totally okay with it. It looks great. Let's do our brows next. I'm only going to fill in my brows a little bit, and I'll use this Kosas Brow Pop Nano in dark brown. When I fill in my brows, I like to fill in from the center to the ends. I skip the middle part. I learned this technique and trick from Makeup by Mario in one of his videos. We're all done drawing our brows in, and I want to use the Loreal brow lamination, this one, to brush up my brows. That looks good. Now let's go ahead and move on into eyeshadow. I already like the eyes. I added the bronzer and the blush to that area too. I want to do a little bit of touch-ups using this Makeup by Mario Nature palette. Beautiful. That green is already calling my name. I am running a little low on my makeup brushes right now that are clean. I'm gonna use this Jessup and I'm gonna grab this brown shade. Pre-blend it in my palm, my lower crease. Oh, I already like this. I don't want to add too much to my eyes because I think it's already looking pretty good today. I will do a little bit of eyeliner using the darkest brown shade right here. This one, a tiny bit. I'm channeling Nina Park for this. This is a fluffy pointed brush. I'm not drawing a firm line. It's just a little bit of that dark color. I'm gonna grab that green shade that has been calling my name with my finger. Apply this right to the center. I'm obsessed. This makeup look today, I'm really excited to try out a new product. It's the Chanel Balm Essential. It's their highlighter stick, essentially. I haven't even opened it, so let's open it together. This is supposed to be a natural everyday highlight, and I want to give it a try tonight. I'm gonna use my finger. I will use a small tiny brush by Sigma E21 Smudge to grab a little bit and use this for my tear duct. So I think the eyes are looking really good. I want to curl my eyelashes, so I'm going to use this eyelash curler. Next will be my Heroin Make mascara. Let's go ahead and do our lips. I'm going to use the Makeup by Mario lip liner in Smoky Pink. And then I'm going to use the other side to just blend this all out. I'm going to go ahead and use my Burt's Bees in Rose, the tinted lip balm. Beautiful My Lips But Better color. Right in the middle of all of this, I'm going to use the Burt's Bees Lip Shimmer in Fig, just in the center. And use my finger. Alright, now I want to use my setting sprays. And the first one I want to go in with today is the powder melt for my forehead. And as I said that, I changed my mind and did everywhere. And then I'll go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray to finish the look. Then this Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder in shade Light to do the final touches. Okay, you guys, so here's my final look for today. I had so much fun doing this makeup look before I go to dinner for the AAD convention with my friends, and also going to a Eucerin Aquaphor party afterwards. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe, and let me know what you thought about this look. And until next time, have a good one. Bye!